It's time for us to talk tech. And this morning, Kofi Ashon, who is the host of Citi Trends and also the head of production here at Citi TV, has joined us. So we're going to have a conversation about Ghanaian apps that work. Good morning, Philip.
Well, good morning.
How are you?
Kweku, I am doing pretty good. I like this. I haven't seen this since. Wow, I like this.
Since what, a year ago?
This feels very good.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, we were on the Heritage Caravan last week.
Don't open up my wounds.
Big shouts to Jifa.
No. Don't open up my wounds.
Who was on the trip. Big shouts to Kweku for not being on the trip this year. We had awesome fun. It was fantastic, I have to say, and it's great to be back. But like you said, you weren't there, so you wouldn't know what we're talking about. But it was massive fun.
Okay,
and,
no problem.
Today I just wanted to highlight. Today I wanted to highlight three major Ghanaian apps. Okay. When I say Ghanaian apps, I just want to say these are apps that are developed by Ghanaians, which I feel need a mention because they are working, they're changing lives, they're impacting lives, and to a large extent, it's not just people living in Ghana who are using most of these platforms. These are apps that are benefiting people from like literally all over the world, depending on where they are. And so I just wanted to highlight these three. I think throughout the month of March, I'll be highlighting a couple more. But today I wanted to start with three major apps. And the very first one is a very good friend of Citi's and a very good friend of mine, Kingsley, currently stuck somewhere in Lagos trying to extend the company that he set up a couple of years ago. And I remember this story so well because we talked about it because of Citi Trends, and he came, we did a couple of interviews, we spoke about the solution. And at the time, it seemed like a very small thing, but now it is solving so many problems for so many retailers. The platform is called Kudigo. It's called Kudigo. Now, the thing about Kudigo is, the main idea behind Kudigo is there's so many people who have stores or stalls. You go to Makola, you go to all these other places, and you have all these small retailers and these small businesses who basically start a business but don't really have like a software or a tech basis to automate some of the stuff that they do, to help them keep accounts, to ensure that inventory is well sorted. This is where Kudigo comes in. The whole idea behind Kudigo is to give retailers, to give small businesses, to give stores or stalls the opportunity to be able to monitor how many sales or how much sales they are making, to be able to give them an idea of the inventory that they have and things like that. And as you can see on the screen there, there's a homepage for Kudigo. Kudi, as you know, is just money. So Kudigo, so money on the go. And I mean, these are people you would typically find someone in an area who sells milk and sugar and whatever.
Corner shop.
Corner shop type. You go to these market centers. Most of these market women have an idea, and kudos to them. They are very sharp with what they have. But it's nice to have all of this documented. It's nice that even when you get to the point where you feel you want to extend your business, you have an opportunity to do that because you have the paperwork to support it. And that is where Kudigo comes in. It allows you to keep track of all the retail that you do, all the sales that you do. It gives you analytics based on which because you're entering all the data, how many things you're selling in a day, in a week. It allows you to get a good sense of what has been sold, what is moving, what your best mark or shopping days are. It gives you an access to accounting as well because it's connected with Sage 1. And what it does is it allows you to be able to keep your books, which is something that a lot of small businesses really don't have. And also it allows you to make for people to make payments. So whether it is Momo or Visa or whatever it is, Kudigo basically does that. Now, Kudigo has a product called Storefront. Now, Storefront basically, like Storefront, it is the one that manages the front of the store. So all of these are put into Storefront. Now, what Storefront basically does is allows you to do all these things that we've talked about. So if you're a small business, if you are looking at opening up a business, if you're looking at expanding your business and you want a very simple platform that allows you to keep track of all the sales that you're making, all the inventory that you have,
Yeah.
gives you a sense of what is selling, what is not selling. You know, those basic details about your business. Kudigo, I believe, is and Kudigo Storefront or Storefronts by Kudigo is, I think, the best platform you can really look at now. It's like I said, Kingsley and his team are expanding into Nigeria. They're looking at expanding into other African countries. And one of the things that made me choose Kudigo as one of the platforms to highlight today is because this is a very local team. And this is a platform that works. Wherever they go, people gravitate towards it because, first of all, it's so easy to use. And secondly, it just makes sense because a lot of the businesses that we find around us really don't have that level of automation, don't have that tech support base, either because the tech is too complicated or it's not just broken down well enough for them. And I believe that this is a platform that allows a lot of people to do that. So the very first one is Kudigo. Or Storefront by Kudigo. You can go check it out, you know, on Android Play Store, on iOS, wherever it is. And basically just try to automate your business, especially for small businesses, you know, businesses that typically don't have a tech support. And the thing about them is they have teams that go out and basically give you service in case you might be confused about anything.
I wanted to ask about the price tag. What are we looking at?
No, I mean, it depends on the package you want to sign on. There are different packages, you know, that typical, but literally the app is free. The app is literally free. You can just go download it and start using it. But obviously with every app, there are stages. And, you know, there are things that you might want some customization here or some customization there. And that one would obviously come at a cost. So that is it for Kudigo. The second one I want to talk about is an app that I feel very good about. It's called ExpressPay. And I believe a lot of our viewers probably already use ExpressPay. Now, the thing about ExpressPay is, as you can see, that this is me basically logging in. I mean, it has Face ID for those of you who use iPhones. But basically, this is the platform. As you can see there, it's pretty simple. You can make everything from payments for TV, to utilities, to reservations, to anything. And you can set your favorites. So there are things that you typically do regularly. And that's what you saw on the first page. So that is the list there of things that you can do. You can do airtime top-up to virtually every mobile network you can find in the country. You can pay for your DSTV bills or whichever one it is you want to do. You can transfer money, which is one of the most popular uses for this particular app. And you can transfer money to any network without necessarily having to stress about it. Once you've connected your Visa to the platform, you're pretty good to go. One of the things I also find really interesting is, you know, sometimes you go to a store and then you have this QR code, QR code thing that, you know, the government has been talking about. Some businesses have already started it. And so basically you can go scan and make the payment. You just scan, you know, the QR code and then you can make the payment straight off. And like I said, one of the biggest things that about this app that most people use it for is, you know, the purchase of either top-up credit or the transfer of money. And what I love about ExpressPay allows proper interoperability, which is you can send money from ExpressPay to literally any mobile money platform available. It's that straightforward and it's very simple. You can see there if you want to make payments to your school's association and things like that. Once you know they are signed on to the platform, you're good to go.
Even church tithes and offerings. It's, you know, once the church is signed up on it, I've noticed that you can do that.
You can do that, and so I mean, it's and the thing about it is, these are Ghanaians once again. It's local. You can get. And anybody who has used ExpressPay will tell you that the service is phenomenal because once you encounter an issue, you will get a solution at least within 30 minutes or within the hour. And for me, I think that's kudos to the team there. So, look, just download the app, go through it, find out what else you can do with it because they are open as well. A lot of businesses today are basically including ExpressPay as an option in terms of how people can pay for their services. So basically you have a shop, you know, you want people to pay on the internet, or if someone has ExpressPay and they can make a payment, they just go, they look for the utilities or they look for the category and they can basically make that payment. And I just feel that for the fact that it's Ghanaian, for the fact that it's led by a Ghanaian and built by Ghanaians, and the fact that it works so well, I just think that it's worth the mention. Yeah. I just really feel it's worth the mention. The last one is actually a music platform. It's called Aftown. Aftown. Okay. Now, we live in a world today where most people stream music. Most people don't buy CDs anymore. Okay. Most people will prefer to download music, quote unquote, illegally from some weird website. Now, the thing is, when we keep doing that, downloading the music without having people pay for it, the artists end up suffering because they don't make any money. And this is where platforms like Aftown come in, where they have a resource of local African, Ghanaian, Senegalese, African artists generally, basically hopping onto this platform and trying to make a decent living. Yeah. And I think it's worth supporting because when you take something like Apple Music, that is the basis of what Apple Music is all about. Okay. You pay to use or listen to the music. Yeah. And basically that's all you have there. So all these musicians are signed on. You can see the prices next to it. You can just make a purchase. Some of them are as low as 50 pesos. Some of them as go as 30 CDs for an album, which I think is fair for the amount of work that these artists put into their music. And it's convenient because it's just basically downloading the app and then finding the song and then just making a purchase. There are so many different payment platforms you can use. You can use Momo, you can use your Visa, and just make a purchase for music. So you're basically supporting the music industry as well by just making sure these purchases are done. And right now, everybody's streaming music, really. Yeah. And as you can see there, that is Yaya's new album, Ago. They're featured there. You can see the track listing and some information about the album. And you can just make a purchase right off the platform. And it's very straightforward and it's very, very easy. So for me, and for today, these are the three apps that we're going to look at. Kudigo, Express Pay, and Aftown. These are the three that I wanted. And all these are pioneered and engineered and led by Ghanaians. Yeah. These are apps that work. These are platforms that work. These are platforms that are solving problems for people. Yeah. Kudigo is solving the problem for your average retailer, little store somewhere, someone looking at becoming enterprising but trying to find a better way to do it. Kudigo is there to service. Extra space for the average person, anybody who wants to make a payment, anybody who wants to make life a little easier for them. Extra space is there for
the level of convenience is just incredible,
And I mean, you can literally, and someone said this yesterday, you can literally now think about 2 years down the line where some of these mobile, Momo vendors will probably be out of work because I can sit at home and transfer money all by myself. Yeah. If, for example, the people in my office, if I have Express Pay, I can literally do all these transfers that they want to do without them stepping out. Yeah. I can do everything from the comfort of the office. And I just feel that we should really start exploring some of these Ghanaian, because these apps are built by Ghanaians and they offer such excellent service and I think they need to be highlighted.
The great thing for me about an app like Express, because of the three apps, that's one that I've used for a couple of years at least, is the fact that, number one, you can actually track all your payments.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. So if you've did your last, maybe you've done several payments to a particular person, over a period of maybe 2 years, it has all that information. It's stored. So even if you can't find it on the app, if you call the office, they have the data.
And I mean, they have, for example, a service like Bank Direct.
Yes,
exactly.
This is fantastic.
So I mean, you can just basically move money from your
from one account into a different account.
Very, very easily. Yep. It's all about convenience, and they are providing that convenience. So these are the three apps: Kudigo, Express Pay, Aftown. These are the three Ghanaian apps that I wanted to highlight on the show today. But that is not all we're going to talk about today, because Huawei released a new phone a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to briefly touch on. But before we do that, let's check out this little video from Huawei about this device we're going to be talking about in just a bit.
Dangerous
So yeah, that is the Nova 5T, a device that has got a lot of people talking. And I believe it's gotten them talking for a good reason. Because first of all, you have a very solid camera setup. You have 3 cameras on the back, very, very solid cameras, a 48 megapixel camera, a 16 megapixel camera as well in the back. There are some 2 other, cameras in the back, but what I like about the device is the fact that there's a lot packed into a mid-range device. And when I say mid-range, there are phones that are 5,000 CDs, 7,000 CDs, just based on how much computing power is often put into the device. Yeah. This device is going for 1,888 CDs, literally 1,900. Yeah. And for what it's able to give, I think it's pretty incredible. It's a 3,750 milliampere battery. Basically, literally takes you through the day. Now, typically, you would have a 4,000 milliampere battery boasting of taking you through the day. But it also depends on how the power is managed within the phone. Yeah. So, for example,
display lighting and all those things,
if you're playing video games all day, if you have your Wi-Fi on all day, and one of the things that I did with this device most of the time was use it as a hotspot, literally all through the Heritage Caravan trip. It was on from morning till evening, and the phone lasted me from morning till evening. Oh, wow. This is aside everything else I was doing with the phone. Okay. And for me, I think that it is not just about the battery capacity, it's about how the battery capacity is managed. Okay. And I think that this phone, kudos to the phone, does that very well. It's able to manage it very, very well. Where a service is not being provided or is not needed at a particular point, it's able to shut it down or indicate to you that this particular app is using too much power. Okay. This sort of runs through almost all the Android devices, but I think that this phone does it very, very well. The biggest selling points for me for this device is, number one, the fact that the fingerprint reader is on the side. It's on the same place as the power button. Okay. So you can use that to unlock the device, by just, and the side there, you can just press it, and then it comes on. And you can use that same part to basically lock the device. I thought that was pretty cool, because most of these new phone devices, phone makers are putting it on the screen. Yes. But I think that, what if your screen cracks? Then how do you unlock your device? Yeah. You get what I mean? So I really like the fact that it's on the side as the power button. As you can see, the volume rocker and everything is on the side. But for me, that's one of the things that I found really interesting. The other thing I found interesting was the cameras in the back. Now, I want us to see a couple of samples of some of the photos that were taken. A lot of these photos were taken with the night mode switched on, and we're going to see a couple of pictures from there. We've seen the other phones give us night features. But what I like about this, once again, is at the price point that we get this phone.
To get that kind of quality.
I honestly think that it gives such great quality. And it applies the same technology as a number of the other phones, whereby it takes a series of pictures at different aperture levels. So that, the very... once all of them are taken, you get one picture that sums it all up. So this is a picture that was taken on the Heritage Caravan on our way to Kwewu. This is dead in the night around 11 o'clock. Wow. That's when this picture was taken. So that just tells you
that's pretty impressive
what you're going to get. And once again, I'm saying this might not be new, but in terms of the price point, I think that really, really works. And this is just a sample of the picture that we have there. So we have quite a number of pictures. So these are just samples. These are pictures that were taken in the dead of the night, 11 p.m. on our way to Kwewu. There. So those are some of the things that we can... I'm going to show us also... we can just move on quickly to the videos. The videos that we're taking with the phone. So I did a little test, and all of this is directly from the phone. This is not edited material. Wow. So this is the ultra slow motion that I turned on, that you can basically do from the phone. You don't need to do any extra editing, but this is just directly coming from the phone. This video is interesting because I was trying to use the various cameras, the 3 cameras in the back. So this is the ultra wide. And then I use the normal 48 megapixel, and then the normal one. Now the thing that I found interesting about the cameras is that under very poor lighting,
yes,
it doesn't perform very well.
Okay.
And that's, I have to be very straightforward about. Under poor lighting, it doesn't perform as well as I thought it would. But under good enough lighting, you get something pretty decent. And this looks pretty decent.
Yes, no, it does.
For anybody who is, and there's an ultra-wide lens there that I switched to, and then switch to the other lenses. All these are shots directly from the phone. You didn't need to do any editing. You know, just turn on the time lapse and you're good to go. Now, the trick about, and if we can pause this video for a quick second, the trick about this was, when I initially used the phone itself without any extra lighting, it was difficult for the camera to be able to detect where the action is.
Okay.
So what happens with these ultra slow motion or these slow motion, super slow-mo things is, the camera needs to identify where the action is happening, and then it slow-mos that particular action. Now, when I initially put on the device, I couldn't really get it to recognize where the action was happening. So I had to use another phone's light to be able to give it, some extra light. And that's what I mean by under very poor lighting. And I mean, it's like that with virtually every camera. If you have a DSLR, for example, and you don't have a lens which is like 1.8, like aperture levels, you really can't get much out of it. And so you really can't blame the camera too much. But I had to basically introduce some extra lighting before it was able to recognize it. But then even with that, you can see the results. So under good lighting, it works pretty well. I wouldn't say it's the most extraordinary, but it works pretty well. But this was under very, very poor lighting, and I just want to issue that caveat. But these are just some of the visuals that you can get from the phone. And this is when we're in Tamale. This is when we got to Tamale. This is somewhere around 10 p.m. that we're filming. The only lights available at this point were, the tungsten lights in the place. And you still got, this level of clarity. And like I said, at this price point, 1,888, I think this is pretty decent for anybody who's looking at using this device. I mean, the two biggest selling points for me for this phone, the Huawei Nova 5T, is the power management and even the power capacity. And also the cameras. The cameras work very, very well. Those are, for me, the two biggest selling points. There's so many other things about the device that anybody who's looking at buying a smartphone today can get. But I think that, for me, those are the two, the power management and then the capacity of the cameras. There are limitations, naturally, with every device. I was just a little disappointed with how it managed in low light situations. I think the pictures weren't as clear as I would have wanted it to. But hey, it's 1,888 Ghana Citi phone. What did you expect? You just have to measure based on that. You can't say that because some other device that costs in excess of 6,000 is giving you something, this phone is supposed to. You just have to understand that within the price range, this is pretty good. Within the price range, this is pretty good. And so that is the Nova 5T by Huawei. It's a pretty decent device. If you're working on a budget, this is a good device to get.
All right, super. Thank you very much, Philip.
Absolutely.
Nova 5T, I like the fact that the color separation and everything was really crisp.
It's really good.
When I saw the pictures with the STCs and all that, I was just looking at the color, and it's very impressive. Thank you very much for that. So we'll be speaking to Philip Ashon, who is the host of Citi Trends on Citi 97.3 FM and also the head of production here at Citi TV.
Hi there. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share with all of your friends. This is Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.